bye-bye to the freedom which America has long been a beacon to the world. It has offered this beacon of freedom to the world. Now you are in immediate peril of losing that freedom. However extreme what I'm saying to you may sound, every word of it is verifiably true. That is the intention of your, and I'm going to call him this, your communist president and your communist administration, your communist science advisor, who only 25 years ago was saying that there would be such a global cooling caused by mankind that ice would accumulate on the Antarctic and it would tilt into the sea and cause a tidal wave bigger than any in human history, wiping out all coastal communities worldwide. Now he says that global warming will cause exactly the same sea level rise and wipe out coastal communities worldwide. All of this is going on. These people are communists. They do not have the best interest of you or your country at heart. I would not normally speak in this way about your elected administration, but frankly, I think you were misled into believing that there was going to be change you could believe in. This is change on a scale that is simply almost unbelievable, but that is what is threatened unless you use your last days of freedom to stop it. Because once this treaty goes through, you can ring your senator, you can vote him in, you can vote him out, you can vote for a different president. It won't make any difference. Once this treaty binds your nation, you will never be free, never be prosperous.
That's another key point is that does the latest treaty still have the wording that there has to be a unanimous vote by all the parties to let your country leave?
At the moment, there is no wording that allows you to leave unilaterally, and therefore the usual provision in international treaties under the Vienna Convention prevails, which is there has to be a unanimous vote of all other parties to let you out.
All right, Lord Monckton.
There are many amendments that needs to be put into this treaty, but of course it isn't yet there, despite our having raised this with previous drafts.
Lord Christopher Monckton, we're coming down to the end. I want to say bye to you here at the break. You've agreed that at the end of Copenhagen to pop back in with a final report. But as you said, this is a complete world government takeover from Ban Ki-moon's own mouth, from the head of the EU's own mouth. This is really happening. Total global control grid. Al Gore says it's not enough. He wants even more of our money. They know it's a fraud. These are piratical thieves. And we are 2 seconds to midnight, as you have so eloquently said. But the fraud has been exposed, but it appears they don't care. They're just going to go forward establishing this carbon dioxide dictatorship. They know that gas is involved in all human activity, all life. And by picking that gas, they have a total dictatorship. I mean, this is the dawn of a new dark age with these control freaks preparing to bring us all in as chattel slaves.
And hysterical though that may sound, indeed hysterical though it does sound, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening tonight, every word of what your kind host has said is regrettably true. It breaks my heart to say it, and I beg you, get onto your senator while you still can. You only have 10 days of freedom left. Already there have been scientists like James Hansen saying that anyone who argues, as I have argued, should be put on trial and executed for high crimes against humanity, because I want to keep the world free.
Yes, they want to execute.
I make no apologies.
They want to kill people that don't agree with them. Lord Monckton, let me say bye to you during the break. I really appreciate the time. Fire out your website for folks.
It's www.scienceandpublicpolicy.org. And one last point. God bless.
Stay there. We've got a break. We've got a break, sir. Back in 1 minute. This is Key Info. Stay with us. Lord Christopher Monckton. Don't forget, my friends, my film, Fall of the Republic, is free online. Just Google Fall of the Republic. Watch it on YouTube, Google. Get it in high quality on DVD at Infowars.com, especially if you want to support us. A full hour of this explains the banking dictatorship using carbon tax to control our planet. Lord Monckton's with us for an additional 4 minutes to finish his point, and then I want to ask him about the prostitutes, the caviar, the jets, the limos, the open hypocrisy of these people. I mean, even by their own fraud, saying carbon dioxide is this deadly poison. Lord Monckton from Copenhagen, finishing your point.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I was just saying God bless America, which I'll cheerfully say again. But let's take up your point. There are 1,200 limousines, carbon-emitting, to drive the delegates around because it's too cold for them to walk to the global warming conference. There's a nice irony there. Just as most of the United States is blanketed in snow to a further point south than has been seen in recent history, or in some places in history at all, here we are shivering in Copenhagen too, 1,200 gas-guzzling limos, 140 private jets. Hey, I didn't even come in my private jet. All 6 of them are out for service at the moment. I came by train, which is very carbon efficient, or so we're told. And when we arrived in Copenhagen, wherever you go in Copenhagen, there are green sprayed signs saying Copenhagen. But in fact, those of us who've listened to the maundering comments of these useless national delegates in the conference chamber are calling it Copenhagen. And of course, those delegates are then rushing off down to the red light district and having fun with the prostitutes, exactly as you said, using their limos to get them there. And I suppose we might call that Copenhagen. But either way, it is a disgrace what's going on. It shows that what is really happening here is one law for the rich and one for the poor, one for the governing class and one for the rest of us. They are not cutting their carbon footprint, but my goodness, they're going to charge you through the nose if you don't cut yours. So this is an asymmetrical conference here, which is the governing class supported by the tens of thousands of keening zombies from the environmental movement, enviro-zombies, I call them. They like to shorten all their words, so I'll do it. They're enviro-zombies. And these people are going to take away everything that is dear to us in your Constitution, every element in your freedom, every chance of prosperity, every chance of recovery from the present economic recession.
Because they want control.
They want absolute control. This is nothing less than a bureaucratic coup d'etat, which is days from succeeding.
By the way, there was an article in the London Telegraph today, ClimateGate, Barack Obama's rule by EPA decree is a coup d'etat against Congress made in Britain. And during the break, you made a parallel. The last time Copenhagen had this much propaganda was when the SS were in control.
That's right. Everywhere they're now green instead of red, white, and black. But there are banners everywhere that are deeply reminiscent of the SS. And they, of course, occupied Copenhagen and Denmark as a whole during the war. And Denmark, to do it credit, thanks to its king and the guts of its people, managed to make sure that practically no Jews got sent from Denmark to the gas chambers, because the people of Denmark stood by the Jews in the most remarkable and wonderful way. But now, Denmark's leaders are among the worst offenders in signing away the freedoms that Denmark won with the Allies during the war, precisely to prevent the kind of sinister dictatorship, all right, perhaps less violent and less brutal than what happened under the Nazis, but a dictatorship nonetheless.
Well, they just kill you by starving you to death. They just kill you like Stalin did in the Ukraine by cutting off your food.
That's right. They'll be cutting off not only your food, but your electricity. You won't be able to get up to the top of your tower block because the lift won't work, the elevator won't work, there'll be no electricity to drive it. There'll be a carbon footprint card, so that everywhere you go shopping, you'll be limited to what you can have.
Lord Monckton.
To buy fuel. It's going to be a disaster unless you get onto your senator right after this.
We're out of time. Godspeed. Godspeed, sir, there in Copenhagen. Thank you so much for all your time. We'll be right back.